Hi everyone! We've been running Void Dungeons a lot on stream lately, so I figured now is a good time to finally make a guide. First, let's talk about why you should do Void Raids. Endgame equipment. For the longest time, True Iron Dragon was the best relic set in the game. However, Void has introduced Ancient Grade equipment, which has 4 card slots and 5 random properties. These items can be upgraded to level 18, which grants plus 3% crit damage for each piece. Reinforcing these items with an epic reinforcement stone can roll these additional stats, and these are the set bonuses. As if rolling for props isn't enough RNG, ancient grade equipment props can also be rolled individually. As always, these are the main 5 stats that contribute the most to total attack, but I would recommend prioritizing back attack damage over MP recovery. Apart from equipment boxes, Void Dungeons always drop Advanced Rune Summon chests, Twisted Voidal boxes, Chase EXP potions, and Voidal fragments that can be used to craft Void weapon boxes or upgrade your Void titles. The amount dropped depends on how many floors you clear, but more on that later on. You can also get single stat change and single stat drop protection scrolls, as well as monster cards. With all that out of the way, let's go over some general rules for these raids. First of all, Void Dungeons have 3 main phases. For every phase you clear, you will get these items, and there is always a chance that an equipment box will drop. With that being said, don't feel discouraged if you don't have enough stats to join 3 floor rooms. Stick to 1 floor and 2 floor until you improve your TA. If you defeat the 3rd floor boss within a certain time, a door will appear that can be broken to enter the hidden stage, or the 4th floor. The 4th floor is essentially a repeat of floor 3, but the boss has more health and there is a higher time limit, except in Void Nightmare, but we'll get to that. Be mindful of when to use your skills. There are certain rooms that require using AoE skills, while others penalize you for killing too many monsters. Also, some of the bosses are very mobile, and all of them can become invincible for a few seconds, but we'll talk about what to look out for. Another piece of advice someone suggested is to have your party equip these titles to further increase everybody's stats. Finally, be prepared to run back and forth a lot. Most tells for which direction to go are pretty obvious, but I'll go over what to look for. Now, let's talk about Void Invasion. The strategy here is to keep the boss on the left side of the map to give everyone more opportunities to hit him. You'll want to look out for his stomp attack that will stagger you if you get caught, his jump where he leaps into the sky and slides across the map horizontally, his burst, which makes him invulnerable for a few seconds, his horizontal laser that will stagger you and push you back, and his vertical laser, which will launch you up into spikes that can cause you to lose a lot of time if you can't recover fast enough. In all cases, try to have some MP to dodge his vertical laser and use your skills after his burst attack. Phase 1 is pretty straightforward, so let's talk about Phase 2. As soon as the boss recovers, he will begin casting a massive meteor shower that will one-hit KO you. Try to hit him while he is casting to get MP, and use your strongest skill to deal massive damage after he casts. He has the same moveset as Phase 1, just with a meteor shower this time, so pay attention to his animations, and watch out for the screen zoom out that indicates this attack. For Stage 3, the boss loses his vertical laser and meteor shower attacks, but there will be damaging spikes and smaller laser pillars scattered throughout the stage. The main thing to prepare for is his wind mechanic. After a while, the boss will blow you to the center of the map and he will fly to either the left or right edge of the map. Pay attention to the monster indicator on the bottom left or right corner to know which direction to run towards. Make sure you run as soon as possible because he will cast a breath attack that will most likely kill you if you are caught. Get behind him using your evasion skill and deal as much damage as you can. If you do enough damage, the boss will be staggered. Rinse and repeat until you beat him. As I said earlier, defeating him quickly enough will cause a door to spawn for the 4th floor. This fight is exactly like Phase 3, but the boss has more HP, and you cannot use any items besides Listener's Prayer to revive, so do this at your own risk. Next, let's go over Void Taint. The first phase of this raid is very different from Void Invasion because you are penalized if you use map clearing skills. If you look closely, you'll see the Voidal Crushers spawn in before the rest of the mobs. Make sure you only target the Crushers to finish the stage more quickly. Killing the other mobs will heal the Crushers, making the stage go on longer. The Crushers spawn in the same spots each run, so be sure to memorize those locations. Phase 2 and Phase 3 are very similar. At the start, you'll want to run to the left side of the map to kill the head as soon as possible. Killing these heads will spawn a buff that will help you a lot. From here, you can do one of two things. Focus on killing the heads, or focus on the Voidal Gazer. Typically, characters that can move quickly and have a wide AoE skill like Mari will handle the heads. Some characters like Alessis, Lyre, Arm, and Seghart can damage the heads from the center of the stage with their horizontal abilities. I recommend waiting at least 15 seconds between killing each head so their respawn is spaced out a bit, and so your team doesn't have to keep running to get their buff so soon. The main thing to look out for here is each of the 3 heads' casting and danger abilities. At best, these are an inconvenience that deal damage over time over a large area, and at worst, these will completely wipe out your team. If this happens, it can be difficult to get back into the rhythm of staggering the heads to prevent their casting, so always try to save your strongest skills to prevent the casting and danger moves. If you run back and forth fast enough, the gate will spawn and you will be able to challenge the 4th floor. Same mechanics as floor 3, but again, the boss has much more HP, and you can only revive using Listener's Prayer, so make sure you don't break your rhythm of staggering the heads. Finally, let's discuss Void Nightmare. The first stage is much larger than the previous 2 raids. Here, you will find 4 portals that will take you to one of the platforms on the map. The objective here is to kill all 3 hearts and then team up to kill the final heart at the top. The main mechanic in this stage is to kill all the mobs that spawn to charge up the big Voidal monsters to the left and right of the heart. Once they have charged, they will start firing a beam towards you. However, this is your cue to use your strongest skills on the heart, since the lasers will pass through you, buffing your damage as you hit the hearts. Keep in mind that the lasers will follow you, so try to stay on the same level as the hearts to maximize damage, especially on the last part of the stage where your entire team is together. The second and third phase of Nightmare is a fight against the Voidal Apostle, who is very mobile and has tons of skills that will constantly knock you up or knock you back. It is more important than ever to be conscious of how you use your skills so you don't end up missing because she ran away. Skills that lock onto mobs or have massive AoE are very useful here, and I find that one of the best times to damage her is when she spawns this massive circular area that knocks you up, since she mostly stays inside the circle. Be careful of her danger move where she spawns orbs that explode. You'll need to run back and forth to find the gap in the orbs to avoid damage, or use an MP1 skill to become invincible for a bit. Stage 3 follows the same back and forth design philosophy of the other Void raids. In this phase, look out for this animation and the side of the screen where the white action lines are coming from. This is telling you where the Apostle will teleport and begin firing her laser. As soon as you see these white lines, run to that side to get behind her and use as many high power skills as possible. If you're too slow, you might get caught in the laser and die before you reach her. Also, be careful of her danger move where she dashes across the room, leaving a DOT wind on one half of the stage. I like to stay on this middle platform and use a 1 MP skill after a few seconds to get the invincibility and to be able to quickly move down if the upper half of the map is affected. If this stage goes on for too long, she will use her summon, which spawns 4 heads from Void Taint. Only the head with this marking can take damage, so you must kill these one at a time. But the heads are always marked in this order, left, right, so make sure to run back and forth yet again to kill them as soon as possible. After killing the heads, the buff from Void Taint will spawn and the boss will be staggered for a few seconds, so make sure to damage her as much as possible here. If you're quick enough to beat stage 3 before she summons, the Apostle will spawn again and destroying her will move you to the hidden stage. There is a very short time limit in which you must kill her to complete the dungeon. She will not move at all, but she has tons of health, so spam your DPS abilities and make sure to collect the blue orbs that spawn around her, since these restore MP and reduce skill cooldowns. There are also red orbs that restore your HP, but you should focus on attacking the boss as much as possible. And that's all for this one. If there are any tips you have for running Void, please comment them below. I also started streaming recently, and I think I'd like to follow this schedule for Void runs, so make sure to pop in if you can. I usually stream after 8 p.m. PST on weekdays, and I try to stream twice on weekends, so make sure to subscribe to get those notifications. Anyway, that's all for me. Bye!